The first time I heard the words, "If you lose, you become mine fully," I thought it was a joke. My friend, Olivia, had that mischievous glint in her eyes, the one that always hinted at trouble. I should have walked away, but curiosity, and maybe a part of me I didn't want to admit, kept me rooted in place. My name is Ryan, and I had a life carefully balanced between ordinary routines and the secret I never let anyone see, my fascination with dressing as a girl. Not just casual curiosity, but the thrill of transforming completely. Hair, makeup, clothes, the whole persona. I worked at a small graphic design firm in the city, a job that demanded creativity, but allowed anonymity. My colleagues knew me as quiet, precise, and reliable, never the type to take risks or draw attention. Yet behind closed doors, in my tiny apartment, I had a sanctuary, a room filled with makeup, wigs, dresses, and heels. In that private world, I became someone entirely different, someone bolder, freer, and, admittedly, sexier than Ryan ever dared to be in daylight. It was exhilarating and dangerous. Olivia, on the other hand, was the opposite of me. Outgoing, fearless, and effortlessly confident, she thrived on chaos and control. We had been dating for over a year, and she knew some parts of me, my quirks, my passions, my secret crushes on style and beauty, but nothing like this. Nothing that would make her see me as more than her boyfriend.
Until that day.
It was a rainy Saturday afternoon, the kind where the city streets glistened under the gray sky and the air smelled faintly of wet asphalt. Olivia had invited me over to her apartment for what she claimed would be fun and games. I should have been wary. Her idea of fun usually involved some form of mischief I'd rather avoid. But the warmth of her smile and the twinkle in her eyes made me forget caution. We sat on her plush living room couch, the city humming through the windows behind her. "I have a challenge for you," she said, her voice low and teasing. My heart skipped. I had learned to recognize that tone, the one that meant trouble was coming, and I would likely enjoy every second of it. "A challenge?" I asked, cautiously intrigued. "Yes," she said, leaning closer. "And it's a high-stakes one. You lose, and well, let's just say you'll have to live as my girl for a while." I blinked, not sure if I had heard her right. Live as her girl? My mind raced. The image of dresses, heels, and makeup flashed in my head, followed by a shiver of excitement and a pang of fear. Could I really do that? Did I want to? Olivia's eyes sparkled with mischief. "You've always been curious, Ryan. I see the way you look at me sometimes, the way you watch, the way you imagine. This is your chance. Win or lose, you choose. But if you lose, there's no turning back." I laughed nervously, trying to mask the sudden thrum of adrenaline in my chest. The room felt smaller, the air thicker, almost electric with possibility. Olivia wasn't cruel, but she was clever, and I had learned that her games often pushed boundaries. I don't know," I stammered. "It sounds intense." "That's the point," she said, leaning back, crossing her legs. "You've wanted this. Don't lie. I've seen you in those little moments when you think no one's looking. The way you admire dresses in stores, the way you notice makeup techniques, the way you linger over heels in windows. Admit it, you've always dreamed about it." I swallowed hard. She was right. Those private fantasies, the careful dressing and transforming in my apartment, the secret mirror reflections, all of it had been mine alone, but now Olivia had pulled the veil back. She had seen through me. "Yes, I've thought about it," I admitted quietly, my cheeks heating. The confession sounded louder in the empty apartment than I expected. Olivia smiled, satisfied. "Good. Then here's the deal. A simple game, nothing dangerous, just skill and luck. If you win, nothing changes. You get to keep your secret, your life, your identity intact. But if you lose, you'll become my girl. Fully. Dresses, makeup, heels, the whole transformation. You'll live it, breathe it, and obey."
Obey.
The word lingered in my mind, both thrilling and terrifying. I could feel my pulse quicken. The concept of surrendering control, something I had never imagined, was suddenly real. I glanced around her apartment. It was stylish, minimalistic yet warm, much like Olivia herself. A small table in the corner had been cleared, leaving only a deck of cards and a few coins. The game, apparently, would be simple, skill-based, but the stakes were anything but. "What if I say no?" I asked, trying to buy time, to keep my safe world intact. Olivia leaned forward, eyes intense. "Then you walk away from your curiosity. You never get to explore it, and you never get to see what you're capable of. But I think you secretly want to try, don't you?" I hesitated. The truth, unspoken but undeniable, bubbled to the surface. Yes, I wanted to try. More than I wanted to admit. More than I probably should. The thought of giving myself over to the transformation, even temporarily, was intoxicating. "Okay," I whispered finally, my voice trembling. "I'll play." Olivia's grin widened. Victorious. "Good choice. Let's see how this unfolds." She shuffled the deck with an elegance that made me nervous, each movement deliberate, controlled, teasing. My hand shook slightly, anticipation coursing through me like electricity. I could feel the boundaries of my ordinary life stretching, ready to snap. And I knew, deep down, that losing wasn't just a possibility, it was likely. Because Olivia was cunning. And Io was ready to risk everything. The rain tapped against the windows, a soft, rhythmic warning. Outside, the city carried on, oblivious. Inside, I sat across from Olivia, staring at the deck, the coins, the stakes. My world had shifted in an instant. Ryan, the ordinary, cautious man, was about to collide with the girl he had always longed to become. And the challenge had only just begun. The first round of the game was simple enough, cards and a little luck, but every move I made felt weighted, every choice amplified. Olivia sat across from me, her eyes sharp, assessing, teasing. With each flip of a card, I felt the tension inside me grow, like a coil tightening around my chest. I knew I could lose. And if I did, I would have to cross a line I'd only imagined in private. I glanced at her legs, crossed elegantly, the curve of her heel catching the dim light. She exuded control, beauty, and authority. I, by contrast, felt exposed, raw. My heartbeat echoed in my ears, mingling with the soft patter of rain against her window. I had always imagined what it would be like to dress as a girl, to embody that elegance, that allure, but imagining it was entirely different from facing it as a consequence. Olivia leaned back, a smirk playing on her lips. "Are you nervous, Ryan?" I swallowed hard. "A little," I admitted. My voice was trembling, betraying the fear I tried to mask. She raised an eyebrow. "A little? Or a lot?" I laughed nervously, but the humor didn't reach my eyes. "A lot," I confessed, and it was true. I was terrified. And somewhere beneath the fear, excitement surged like a current, tingling through me in places I hadn't expected. With each round, my anxiety grew. Losing wasn't just about the game, it was about surrender. Surrender to Olivia, to the idea of becoming someone entirely different. My mind raced through all the things I had practiced alone in my apartment. The makeup routines, the wigs, the dresses. The careful art of transformation I had indulged in privately would soon become reality. I lost the final round. The result hit me like a physical blow, sharp and shocking. Olivia's eyes gleamed triumphantly, and I felt a shiver of fear, and something else, something darker and more thrilling. "So, you're mine," she said softly, leaning closer. Her voice was calm, but beneath it was a current of power that made my stomach twist. "Yes," I whispered, almost reluctant to speak the words. By saying it, I sealed my fate. Olivia stood, extending her hand. "Come with me." I followed, my legs feeling heavy, as if the weight of anticipation itself had made them sluggish. She led me to her bedroom, a space I had never seen before. It was immaculate, organized, yet warm, with soft lighting and mirrors placed strategically across the walls. I realized she had already prepared for this moment. On the bed lay an array of dresses, shoes, and accessories. My heart raced. This was real. This was happening. "Pick something," Olivia instructed, her tone both commanding and gentle. You're going to learn what it's like to be my girl. You'll wear it all. Heels, dress, makeup. Every detail matters. I hesitated, overwhelmed by the choices. Each outfit screamed a different version of femininity, elegance, and allure. My hands trembled as I reached for a soft, pink dress, delicate and flowing. I had imagined wearing something like this in private, but now, with Olivia watching, it felt like stepping into a new identity under a spotlight. Good choice, she said approvingly. Now, shoes. I looked down at the collection of heels, each one higher and more intimidating than the last. My legs wobbled slightly as I slipped into a pair of modest, yet elegant pumps. The sensation was strange, awkward, yet oddly empowering. I felt the subtle change in posture, the way my balance shifted. Olivia watched silently, her expression unreadable, yet I could feel her judgment and approval simultaneously. Next, she said, pointing toward the makeup kit on her vanity. I approached cautiously, my heart hammering. I had applied makeup countless times in private, but under Olivia's gaze, every brushstroke became performance, every decision weighted. I started with foundation, smoothing it over my skin, feeling the transformation begin. Each contour, blush, and stroke of eyeliner reshaped not just my face, but my perception of myself. Olivia stood behind me, her fingers lightly brushing my shoulder, guiding me. Relax. Feel it. This is you, or, well, the new you. The words sent a shiver down my spine. She wasn't just instructing me. She was initiating me. Every brushstroke, every adjustment of my wig, every flick of mascara was a step further into this new identity I had only dreamed of. My hand shook as I applied lipstick, the deep red hue shocking against my fair skin. The mirror reflected someone different. Someone daring, beautiful, feminine. Olivia circled me, assessing every angle. Look at yourself, she said softly. Really look. See the girl you can be. Embrace it. I studied the reflection, hardly recognizing the person staring back. My heart pounded, a mixture of fear, excitement, and an unfamiliar thrill. The identity I had only explored in secret was now tangible. My body felt different, my posture changed, my mind racing with new sensations. Now, practice walking, Olivia instructed. Heels, elegance, poise. You're not just wearing clothes, you're becoming someone else. I stepped carefully, wobbling at first, the unfamiliarity of the heels making every movement deliberate. Olivia's encouraging smile spurred me on. Each step became more confident, more fluid, as if the heels themselves were teaching me how to inhabit this new self. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time seemed suspended. Olivia guided me through pose after pose, mirror reflection after mirror reflection. With every glance, every correction, I sank deeper into the persona she was shaping. Fear mingled with exhilaration, shame blended with desire. I was losing myself, and yet finding a new, thrilling part of me in the process. By the evening, I was completely transformed, dress, heels, makeup, and wig all in place. I looked like a polished, elegant girl, someone completely removed from the Ryan I had been just hours earlier. My heart raced, a cocktail of dread and exhilaration. Olivia's eyes softened as she observed me. You did well. Better than I expected. You look amazing. I swallowed, unsure whether to be flattered or embarrassed. It feels strange, I admitted, but also exciting. That's the point, she said, smiling. You're learning what it's like to truly live as my girl. And tomorrow, the real challenge begins. You won't just wear the clothes, you'll act, walk, think, and even speak as her. Every detail matters. The stakes are higher than you know. My stomach twisted. I had crossed a threshold, moving from fantasy into reality. The thrill of transformation mingled with fear of exposure, of surrender. I was Olivia's creation now, molded by her hands and guided by her expectations. And I knew, deep down, that my old life, quiet, ordinary, predictable, was gone. There was no turning back. The morning sun filtered through the curtains, painting the room in soft golden light, but I barely noticed. My mind was still tangled in the events of last night, in the transformation Olivia had orchestrated. I had slept, or tried to sleep, curled in the unfamiliar contours of high heels and a silky dress, my body still adjusting to the new persona I now inhabited. Olivia entered the room silently, a mischievous smile on her lips. "Time to see if you can handle being more than just a look," she said, her voice low but commanding. "Today, you'll act the part." My stomach twisted. Acting the part meant more than walking gracefully or applying makeup. It meant living her world, thinking her thoughts, adopting her gestures, and projecting a confidence I didn't feel. She handed me a list. "You'll go to the cafe, meet my friend, and stay in character. No slip-ups. Every move, every word matters." I glanced at the list. Coffee order, casual conversation topics, subtle flirtation techniques. My heart hammered. I'd never spoken like this in public. My voice, modulated to sound softer and lighter, already felt foreign. But Olivia's eyes locked on mine, unwavering, and I realized there was no turning back. The drive to the cafe was a blur. I kept adjusting the hem of my dress, the tilt of my heels, the curve of my posture. Every glance in the rearview mirror made me flinch, seeing a version of myself that didn't feel real. Once inside, Olivia gave me a final nod. "Remember who you are. My girl." Confident, graceful, perfect. I walked toward the table, heels clicking sharply against the polished floor. Her friend, a striking woman named Clara, looked up and smiled warmly. "Olivia. And you must be—" I froze briefly, then forced a smile, my voice faltering. I'm her friend," I said, mentally kicking myself for the awkward phrasing. Clara laughed, unaware of my inner turmoil. "Well, it's lovely to meet you. Olivia's told me so much." Every sentence was a battle. I struggled to maintain the poise Olivia demanded, my body remembering every stance she had drilled into me, every tilt of the head, every subtle hand gesture. The cafe seemed to shrink around me, each patron's glance magnified, each whisper potentially exposing me. Then came the first close call. A man at the next table glanced over, giving me a look that made my cheeks burn. My pulse quickened. Would he recognize me? Did he suspect something? Olivia's presence was both a shield and a reminder. She sat beside me, calm and composed, her hand lightly resting on my thigh in a subtle gesture of ownership and reassurance. I was caught between terror and thrill. By the time the coffee arrived, I had managed to navigate several tense conversations, but the challenge escalated quickly. Clara's friend suggested we visit a small boutique nearby. Olivia whispered, "Follow my lead. Don't break character." The boutique was tight, filled with mirrors and clothing racks. I could barely breathe as I navigated the narrow aisles, trying to appear casual, graceful, feminine. Every reflection was a test, every passerby a judge. Then the twist came. Olivia's ex-boyfriend, Michael, appeared in the doorway. His eyes swept over the room, pausing on me. Recognition? Suspicion? My heart stopped. Olivia smiled sweetly. "Michael, fancy seeing you here," she said casually, sliding her hand over mine in a subtle display of ownership. Michael's eyes flickered between Olivia and me, narrowing. I didn't know she had a friend with her," he stammered. Panic surged. I tried to keep my posture, my voice steady, but my hands trembled, my knees weakened. Every instinct screamed for me to run, to escape this exposure. Olivia leaned closer, whispering, "Stay calm. Just smile, engage. Remember, you're my girl. You can do this." I nodded, barely breathing, as Michael approached. He extended a hand. "Hi, I'm Michael," he said, eyes sharp. I forced a soft, feminine laugh, extending my hand with a careful grace I had never felt natural. "Hi, I'm Ryan Well, her friend," I murmured, cheeks burning. He tilted his head, suspicious, but didn't push further. Relief and tension mingled in equal measure. Olivia's presence anchored me, yet the adrenaline surged through every fiber of my being. The afternoon became a series of escalating tests, smiling at strangers, navigating small talk, walking with grace in heels on uneven pavement. Each step, each interaction, was a balance between thrill and terror. Returning home, drenched in sweat and exhaustion, I collapsed onto the couch. Olivia watched me, her gaze intense yet approving. "You survived," she said softly. "And you did well." But I knew the real challenge was far from over. The transformation wasn't just physical. It was psychological, emotional. Each step in public, each smile forced under scrutiny, reinforced a new reality. I was no longer just Ryan. I was Olivia's girl, a persona I had to maintain, protect, and embody. Then came the symbolic moment that drove the tension to its peak. I reached for my wig, adjusting it in the mirror. A sudden gust from the open window sent it tumbling, nearly revealing the real me beneath. My hands shook violently as I snatched it back into place. The brush of synthetic hair against my face was a jolt, a reminder that my dual life was fragile, precarious, and could collapse in an instant. Olivia's voice broke the silence. "Careful. One misstep and everything changes." Her words echoed in my mind as I realized the truth. The stakes were higher than I had ever imagined. Each day, each interaction, each reflection in a mirror was a test. Every choice could reveal me, and every misstep could undo everything. By nightfall, I was exhausted, my body aching from the constant awareness, my mind spinning from the emotional turbulence. I had survived public exposure, close calls, and psychological tests. Yet, the ultimate challenge loomed. Maintaining this new identity, keeping Olivia's secret, and navigating the thrill and terror of living as her girl. I sat in the dim glow of the bedroom lamp, the mirror reflecting the feminine figure I had become. My heart raced, a cocktail of fear, excitement, and uncertainty. Could I sustain this dual life? Would I be caught? And more importantly, did I even want to go back to being Ryan? Olivia's smile from across the room was both comforting and haunting. "Tomorrow is another day," she whispered, "and you'll need every ounce of courage to survive it." I clenched my fists, knuckles white, staring at my reflection. My lips, painted red, parted slightly in a gasp. The thrill and fear coiled tightly within me, a storm that I could neither control nor escape. I was no longer just playing a game. I was living it. Night had fallen, and the apartment was bathed in soft, golden lamplight. I sank into the velvet armchair, my body trembling from exhaustion. Every muscle ached, every step from earlier replaying in my mind. My reflection in the mirror across the room seemed almost like a stranger, a perfectly poised, delicate figure I barely recognized as myself. Olivia entered silently, her heels clicking softly against the wooden floor. She leaned against the doorway, her eyes sparkling with both approval and mischief. "You did well today," she said softly. "Better than I expected." I forced a smile, but my stomach nodded. I don't know how much longer I can keep this up," I admitted, my voice a mix of vulnerability and fear. "Every step, every word, it's exhausting. And if someone finds out..." Olivia stepped closer, resting a hand gently on my cheek. "No one will find out as long as you stay careful. But you've already proven you can handle more than you thought. And tomorrow we raise the stakes even higher." My heart raced. I wanted to protest, to retreat to my old self, but a strange thrill coursed through me, a dangerous mix of fear and excitement. My mind replayed every moment: the cafe, Clara's friend, Michael's sudden appearance, the gust of wind that nearly toppled my wig. Each memory tightened the knot in my chest and stirred a twisted sense of pride. I had survived, barely. Then the unexpected happened. The doorbell rang, sharp and insistent, shattering the fragile calm. I froze, my pulse spiking. Olivia's eyes twinkled, but her voice carried a hint of tension. "Stay there. Don't move." I peeked from behind the curtain. A shadowed figure stood at the door, umbrella dripping from the rain outside. A package rested at their feet. I could barely make out the face, and that uncertainty made my heart pound even faster. Olivia picked up the doorbell intercom. "Hello," she said sweetly. There was a pause. Then a voice, low and unfamiliar, replied, "I believe you have something that belongs to me or someone. I'll be waiting."
Click.
The intercom went dead. I turned to Olivia, eyes wide. What was that?" Olivia's expression darkened slightly, a seriousness replacing her usual playful demeanor. She placed a finger over her lips.
Sure.
"It's complicated. But you need to understand something. From now on, it's not just about the challenge or your transformation or even keeping up appearances. Someone is watching, and they know more than they should." A chill ran down my spine. My carefully constructed world, my dual life as Ryan and Olivia's girl, felt suddenly fragile, exposed. Every step, every reflection in every mirror, every whispered conversation carried the weight of potential discovery. I looked down at my painted nails, the delicate dress hugging my body, the soft curls of my wig falling perfectly over my shoulders. The image of myself as her girl, once thrilling, now felt like a trap. And yet, there was no turning back. Olivia's hand brushed against mine, grounding me. "I trust you can handle it," she said softly, but there was an edge to her tone. "But remember, one slip, one mistake, and everything changes." The sound of the package sliding across the floor jolted us. I glanced at the door again. Rain streaked across the glass, and the silhouette of the mysterious figure lingered for a moment before vanishing into the night. I swallowed hard. Questions flooded my mind. Who had delivered the package? What did they want? Were they connected to Olivia's world, or had my secret life been discovered by someone else entirely? Olivia picked up the package carefully, her fingers trembling just slightly. She turned it around in her hands, inspecting the contents without opening it. "Tomorrow," she whispered, "you'll understand why this challenge is only the beginning, and why being my girl isn't just a game anymore." I sat frozen, staring at the small cardboard box. The thrill, fear, and tension I had felt all day now boiled into a storm of uncertainty. Every instinct screamed for me to flee, to rip off the dress and hide away as Ryan. Yet, a strange part of me, a part that had tasted the power and attention of being her girl, hesitated. Olivia's gaze met mine, unwavering. "You've changed, and not just on the outside. Are you ready to see just how far you can go?" The question hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. I wanted to answer, but no words came. My hands shook as I reached for the package. Should I open it? Should I wait? Or would the moment I did, everything, the secret, the thrill, the precarious balance of my life, come crashing down? The rain tapped against the window like a countdown, the shadows in the room deepening. My reflection in the mirror stared back at me, lips slightly parted, eyes wide with uncertainty. The line between Ryan and Olivia's girl blurred. I was caught between fear and desire, safety and exposure, reality and transformation. And then, with the softest, almost imperceptible click, the package opened on its own. Inside, I couldn't see the contents from where I stood, but the sense of imminent danger, of a revelation that could change everything, pressed in. Olivia's smile faded, replaced by a look I had never seen before, one of calculation, caution, and something darker. "It's begun," she whispered. I froze, the storm inside, me matching the storm outside. One wrong move, one glance, one slip, and my world as I knew it would shatter. And yet, part of me couldn't look away. The screen would cut to black here, leaving viewers staring at the unknown, hearts pounding, minds racing. Would Ryan survive the challenge? Could he maintain his identity as Olivia's girl? And what was inside the package that had the power to unravel everything? The answers would have to wait.